Adaaaaa. You're watching the number one podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, and I'm your host, Jean-Paul Leek, and this is Rope Break. Family, here we are real early in the morning, earlier than usual, but that's how Rope Break does it with AEW Dynamite reviews. So, of course, the big news yesterday was just Paul White, Big Show, whatever you want to call him, the Giant. He left WWE. He signed with All Elite Wrestling. So, with that being said, that was pretty much the main thing they were hyping up tonight. Oh, Paul White next week and stuff, which it is. It's huge. I didn't see the jump happening. Nobody did. But more on that next week with the sit-down interview with Tony Schiavone. So I actually thought he was going to be on this week's show. So, that was a little bit not disappointing, but, this show was still pretty good overall. Some segments, some stuff, pretty good, but some not. But this was definitely a better, in the Wednesday Night Wars, got to give the thumbs up to AEW versus NXT this week. Check out our review on NXT. Not a very good show, but we talked about that there. We're here to talk about AEW. But before we do, just want to thank each and every one of you, all the support you give to all the videos, the comments, the subscriptions, everything. Keep it up, guys. We really appreciate it. So Dynamite opens up with Jon Moxley. He is going against the Hollywood hunk, Ryan Nemeth. So Ryan Nemeth said he's ready for his leading role in Hollywood, the winner. Well, it's not going to be in this match because, this thing wasn't very long. Paradigm shift and done. But Nemeth looked good a little bit. Moxley kind of, let him have a little bit, but obviously you're going to have the former champ looking strong in his match when he faces Kenny Omega at Revolution. So afterwards, then Moxley, he sets down a chair in the middle of the ring, sits on it, and he says that when he woke up without the AEW championship, he knew he would do whatever it takes to get it back and to be on top. He says that is exactly what he will do. And what images come to mind when you hear those words: exploding barbed wire death match? He sees fire, blood, burns, torture, agony, vintage Japanese magazines. Do your arms shake? Do you get a sick thrill? He says that he does, and he's made every bad choice in his life. He's addicted to the ring. He's addicted to laying people out in the middle of the ring, and he says that he thought of an exploding barbed wire death match. The thought of it is too attractive. He said he can't resist it. He says that the last thing that Kenny Omega wants is to be in that match with him, and he says win, lose, or draw, that he gave everything he had, and if it comes to an end at Revolution, it seems like an exploding barbed wire death match is the perfect way to go out. So, Moxley's always a good promo. We see here, which we've known it for a while. He's a mark for the garbage death match wrestling. I'm not a big fan of it, but it will make, like I've been saying, an interesting, very unique type of match. I prefer the old, kind of style wrestling, but Moxley proved he's either not proficient in that or he just doesn't like to do it. So the exploding barbed wire death match is what we're going to get. But like I said, Moxley's always a good promo, and I am excited to see and intrigued to see this match, even though it's not my cup of tea. So we get a recap of Moxley and Omega's history. Commentary goes through tonight's card. Then we get an interview with Lance Archer, and Phoenix. Archer says that he was the reason that they were dominant as a tag team, but he will kick Phoenix's ass in their match tonight, to prove who will be in the Face of the Revolution ladder match, I believe it's called. And Phoenix says that Archer was the worst partner he's ever had, and they start to brawl, to end the segment. So, it couldn't just be, respecto, I'll see you in the ring and done, had to get a little bit of tension, but that's all right. And then we get a recap of Team Taz's beatdown of Sting from last week, and Sting wants payback tonight. So after the commercial break, we come back. We see the Inner Circle beatdown of the Young Bucks from last week. The Young Bucks arrive tonight with their parents. The Varsity Blondes make their entrance, and Team Taz enters next. Taz joins the team on commentary. So we get Ricky Starks and Brian Cage versus the Varsity Blondes, Brian Pillman and Griff Garrison. And this match was pretty good. Pillman and Griff Garrison are both super talented. They look good in this match, especially when it was Ricky Starks, because he's more similar size. They matched up good with him. Obviously, Brian Cage, they're really pushing, really looking really dominant. But the same thing here is the same thing you're going to say with Jon Moxley. Is the heel, or not that Moxley's a heel, but is, the strong wrestler going to lose and then look not so strong, look kind of weak going into the pay-per-view? No. This match was just to set him up. And like most things in AEW, it's not about the match. It's about the beatdown or the segment that happens directly after the match. So, But they gave these guys some time. That was good. They didn't just squash them. Like I said, Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr. looked good. So at the end, Cage tags in, huge uppercut, quick tag back to Starks, snapmare. Starks attacks Garrison in the corner. Pillman gets a hot tag to Garrison. It runs wild on both members of Team Taz. Garrison with huge suicide dive to the outside onto Cage. Garrison gets a near fall on Starks. Cage breaks it up. The Varsity Blondes hit a double team powerbomb drop kick for a 2 count. Starks hits a spear, and the Cage hits the discus clothesline, and then he hits the drill claw for the win. So dominant win, but they still didn't crush the guys, didn't job them out. So that looks good for the Varsity Blondes. So then we see Team Taz. The lights go out. Video plays of Darby's body bag being driven through the desert. It reveals that Darby is driving, or Sting is driving the car. And then, I believe it was Sting who was driving it. Yeah. And then Sting opens the body bag, and Darby comes out smiling with the TNT Championship. So Sting makes his entrance. He's dragging the body bag behind him. Hook is revealed to be in the body bag instead. So Team Taz is like, oh my God, what's going on? Sting points to the rafters. Darby's on a zip line. They come to the ring and they start beating everybody up. Baseball bat. Darby has the skateboard. He hits everybody. And then he hits the Stinger Splash onto Cage, and then the Scorpion Death Drop. So we see Sting, he does do some moves. He does look pretty decent for his age and injuries and everything. So, I'm excited for the street fight. I'm a big fan of Sting. The way they used him so far, it's not the way I would have used him. Darby Allin I like, and obviously they're going to get the big win over the heels at the pay-per-view, most likely, but it should still make for a pretty good match. Then when we come back from commercial break, we see Miro, Kip, and Penelope. They're backstage talking with Tony. Not Tony Khan, Tony Schiavone. And Kip says that the wedding was supposed to be the best day of their lives. Miro says that they couldn't go on the honeymoon because of Orange and Chuck. Miro says that they can't match him in the ring. Miro says that Charles can come back to him. He says he shouldn't follow Orange. And then Tony gets a note asking them if they want to match at Revolution. Miro says that they are childish for writing this on a note and everything. And then he says that Chuck should be a man and be happy. So and he grabs the note, throws it in his mouth, chews it up, and spits it back at Tony. Good intensity from Miro. His English is a little bit, it's not bad, but it's a little broken. So I know some people are like, oh, like he doesn't sound legit in the promo and everything. But, to me, Miro's great. He's just another one who is maybe a little misused. I don't know if I would have put him with Kip Sabian, but maybe that's what he wanted. Maybe him and Kip are friends, who knows. And then we see Brandon Cutler. He makes his entrance to go against Jake Hager. And, how do you think this match was going to go? This is stemming. This was just a setup, for the Bucks and Inner Circle match at Revolution for the tag titles. This was, nothing more. Brandon Cutler tried to use his speed a little bit, tried to take advantage. Hager bumped for him a little bit more than Moxley did for Namath, but this match was kind of just the same thing. At the end of it, Hager catches him, plants him on the mat, and then he hits a giant clothesline for the 1-2-3. I don't even remember what his finisher was before that. If he was, but now he's doing like a big clothesline. And of course they always say, oh yeah, Stan Hansen or whatever, or Brody Lee. It's, can the guy have a clothesline just for him? I don't know, but he hits the clothesline. No offense to Brody Lee or anything, but he hits the clothesline 1-2-3, gets the win. Then the Inner Circle, they hit the ring, they beat down Cutler, and then the Young Bucks come out to make the save. Inner Circle runs away. Matt says that they don't have to wait until Revolution. Let's do the match right here, right now. Can the Young Bucks stop doing that shit where every week they're like, we don't want to wait, we want it right now? Like, shut the fuck up. Do it at the pay-per-view, and stop being an idiot. They try to act all tough and macho, but it's like, again, if you do the same thing every time, it's like the boy who cried wolf. It's like, okay, you're going to say the same shit every single time. Oh yeah. Now they're probably going to say, if we don't win at Revolution, we'll never, be champs again. Or like they always got to make it like it's such a dire situation. It's like, dude, just be a man, and Brandon Cutler's a loser anyway. So anyway, before I go too off topic, the Judas plays, but there's no Jericho. Jericho and MJF appear on the Titantron, and Jericho says that why would they do it now when they have the match at Revolution? Exactly. Jericho and MJF move out to reveal that Matt and Nick's father is all bloody. They slam him into the truck. They do the Bucks pose and run away. Matt and Nick, they hit the scene, and the Inner Circle leave in their limo. So good. I like that. Obviously, it tries to get sympathy for the Bucks, and, the Bucks have their fans, so I'm sure that they can't wait to see them kick, Jericho and MJF's ass at the pay-per-view. And my prediction for that is because they have Wardlow in their corner, Papa Buck is going to, come back. He's going to be miraculously healed. and he's going to help them, the Bucks get the win, stand in the ring with his boys as they hold up the belts, and, the money rains down and the confetti and the fireworks and all the other good stuff. So, just the Bucks and Cody, they're the same. Oh, let's get the big pop and circumstance for us, and everybody else, thanks for coming. So then the commercial break, we see Papa Buck. He gets loaded into the stretcher. Recap of the Shack on Jade Cargill and Cody and Red Velvet feud. Then Private Party, they enter with Matt Hardy. TH2 enters next. Hangman Adam Page hits the ring. And I don't know if Mark Quinn was out there. I believe it was just Isaiah Cassidy. But this match was really good. Page and Cassidy. This is something where you see two young guys who have promise, who can, if they have Hangman is good. But like Cassidy, hopefully being with Matt Hardy, even though he's been a little goofy, and I've, been criticizing him here and there in his AEW run, he's still legit. He's still, at his core, can teach these guys and help them get better, which I think he is doing. I think, like, obviously behind the scenes, outside of the kayfabe world, that's what he is doing. He's really helping these guys along, so that's good to see. And this match proved it, because this was a really good match, I thought. But Page looked strong, but then, of course, there was, TH2 on the outside and everything, and they really didn't get involved too much. That's kind of what I like. This was pretty clean. I mean, Hardy tried to get involved a little bit here and there, nothing too crazy. It was still good, and they gave these guys time. That's the thing. When you give guys time to tell the story and perform the match, it's really good. So this was one, that made me, go, okay, like Dynamite, they're delivering tonight. But at the end of the thing, Page hits a clothesline in the corner, and then he misses a sliding lariat and then hits a brainbuster for a 2 count. Cassidy blocks a clothesline and hits a reverse Rana for a 2 count. And he locks up the cross arm breaker, but Page gets into the ropes. Page goes for a springboard, but his arm gets guillotined on the rope. Cassidy goes for a springboard, but Page catches him and hits the dead eye. So I like, okay, we see the dead eye return. Normally it's the buckshot lariat, but, the dead eye, I was glad to see that. It was legit. I like that finisher, when he was doing it at first. I did say sometimes it didn't look like he connected it too much, but I think that's obviously just the camera angle. You shoot it from a different angle, and it looks like he killed the guy. So good stuff there. Another spot in the match I liked is I think Cassidy was going to do like a leapfrog. Hangman caught him and hit him. Boom. Really quick sequence right into a Death Valley driver. That was cool. Like I said, if you can find the highlights of this match, or, go back and watch it on the shady sites, do yourself a favor, because this was a good one. And then, of course, like I said, Page wins. The Dark Order, they come out to celebrate. Matt Hardy says that he will destroy Page, and he throws Alan Angels, off the stage through a table at ringside. And, then he pretty much runs away. Page kind of stands there with the inner circle, and, they're setting up a match for them next week. So then we see Marvez. He's with Omega. Callis asks what he's doing here, because, of course, Marvez just shows up at people's houses unannounced. And he said that they have some very secret plans. Omega is working at a welding table, and the drill pretty much drowns out what he said. I couldn't understand what he said. Something like he's making so he's making something for the match, something like anti-exploding or something anti this. You really couldn't hear what he said. And I cranked the volume, and all you just heard was the drills and the welding and stuff. So, maybe they should have tested the sound before going, let's air this promo. But, maybe it's like Sid Vicious and we're live, pal. So who knows? But I highly doubt it. So, just a little something they could fix, which, it was like, really, come on. You've been doing this long enough. You should know, to listen to your promos before you put them on air. But then we get a recap of the Women's Eliminator Tournament. Nyla Rose enters, and Britt Baker makes her way to the ring. So this was another really good match on the card. It surprised me. Not saying that these women are bad or anything, but I didn't, think that they would go all out like this. But I guess it is, the Eliminator Tournament to be number one contenders, so it does make sense. Nyla Rose and Britt Baker in this sort of main event role, I thought was really good. It was something that we needed to see for a long time. Nyla Rose, they put her with Vicky Guerrero. I don't know if she was injured or what. We just really didn't see her. Britt Baker was obviously injured. She came back. This feud with Thunder Rosa, they kind of dragged that on and muddied it a little bit. But, this match was really good, and it's kind of getting back to the core of what the AEW's women's division is, which I think is like these two, Hikaru Shida, Chris Statlander when she comes back, and obviously now Thunder Rosa, Serena Deeb. You have a really good core of some solid women here in this division finally. So, like I said, they gave them time and just good stuff. They kind of set up the spot where Britt had her leg broken before by Nyla Rose. Obviously, they didn't recreate it and didn't re-break her leg or anything, but, this was still really good. At the end of it, though, Baker rolls up Rose for a 2 count, and she hits a super kick and a second, and then she goes for a crucifix bomb into a lockjaw. That was really good. She hit the crucifix bomb, boom, and then immediately transitioned into the lockjaw. I love that sequence. And then Rose, she elbows her way out, and then a big right hand from Rose. She knocks her out, knocks out Britt Baker, picks her up for a beast bomb, but, after everything from the lockjaw, she's slow to make the cover, so Baker kicks out at 2. Rose picks up Baker, but she escapes and gets caught up in another beast bomb for the 3 count. So Nyla Rose wins. So it's like, we're not going to see Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, or anything in the finals. But Nyla Rose, dominant in a one-on-one matchup. You would think she would beat just about anybody. So I'm fine with that winner, even though I am a big Britt Baker fan. So then we see a recap of the FTR and Jurassic Express feud. Commentary runs down some of the card for next week. I'm excited to see this match just because I want to see what Tully's going to do. Hopefully these guys protect him. Marco Stunt, he's probably going to kick his ass, hit some of his moves. Maybe he'll hit that suplex where he, hits him off the rope and, then hits the suplex back in the ring. I don't know. I'd love to see something like that. We'll just have to wait and see. I just don't like how, Marco Stunt talks all tough because it's like, dude, really look at you. Like you're like a chihuahua. You bark, 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 but that's all you can do is bark. So then we see, like I said, some of the matches for next week, and that's going to be Matt Hardy, Private Party, TH2 versus Hangman Adam Page in the Dark Order. And we're going to see, I believe it's 10, and he's from the Dark Order. He's going against Max Caster, I believe, for the be in the last spot for the, what is it, Face of the Revolution. I keep forgetting what it's called. The Face of the Revolution ladder match. And they announced some other matches as well. And, so Dynamite is setting up for a big show next week. Oh, I believe the Shaq and Cody match is next week, too. You see how much I care about that. And then we're also going to hear from the Big Show, the Giant, Paul White. So pretty good card for next week as well. But then we get the Face of the Revolution ladder match qualifier, Ray Phoenix, Lance Archer, with, of course, Jake the Snake Roberts in his corner. And this match was really good. Only one complaint is it kind of went that, which, it's all AEW matches, but if I don't complain about it, every week I wouldn't be doing my job. Too much fighting on the outside. Clearly the ref's not doing the 10 count or anything like that. And I don't want to hear, it's, they go off New Japan rules and it's 20 count or whatever. No, don't be bullshit. You can't change the rules as it goes on. You started out with legit normal American wrestling rules and you can't just all of a sudden change it. So, but besides that, if you overlook that, which a lot of people do, and I will for the sake of this match, but I still have to mention it, this was really good. Classic story of David versus Goliath, you could say. Big man, using his power, even though Lance Archer is very agile, he's more of the big, powerful against the speed and the high flying of Ray Phoenix. So this match was great. And it went through I think they had about almost 20 minutes a match. And, they fought all the way to the end of the show. They were saying, if this is going to end in a tie, these guys were kicking out of everything. But Lance Archer, he sets up for the, what does he call it? The blackout, Phoenix got out of that and everything. So it's just, lots of back and forth, the super kicks, the dives, everything, Lance Archer, he hits his old school into the moonsault, great stuff here. But like they said, if this ends at a tie, then there'll be 5 guys in the match instead of 6 because there's just so many, these guys are just taking it to the limit. This might go off the air. And at the end of this thing, Archer with some elbows, Phoenix fights back with some step-up kicks. Archer misses a high boot. Phoenix hits a tightrope walks, and he does that tightrope walk kick for a 2 count. Phoenix misses a moonsault and hits a cutter for a 2 count. Archer hits a fisherman buster for a 2 count. Then he drags Phoenix to the top rope. They kind of fight up there. There's a little bit of a spot for a couple seconds when you see it's like, okay, I'm holding on to you. You're holding on to me. Okay, we're both good, right? Yep. Okay. Now we do the Spanish fly. But, obviously I'd rather have them take the cooperation time than land on, their neck and kill themselves. But again, if you need to cooperate that much, maybe don't do that spot. But that's just me. The Spanish fly looked legit, though, I will say. But that was only a 2 count. Archer then rakes his face. Phoenix with some strikes. Archer hits the pounce, and then he hits a power bomb in the corner, then a choke slam for a 2 count. And after that, he picks up Phoenix, and he hits the blackout for the 1, 2, 3. So this fantastic match. 3 matches on this show were home runs for me. Hangman Adam Page, Isaiah Cassidy, Baker, and Nyla Rose, and of course the main event. Great stuff. Lance Archer wins, which is good. You already have Pentagon in the tournament or in the ladder match. Put Lance Archer in there. You don't want to put Phoenix and Pentagon in there, which would be fine, but you already played up the story of the brothers fighting and all that, so put Archer in instead. I'm fine with that decision. And then Archer celebrates, and he offers a fist bump to Phoenix as Dynamite ends with the show of respect. So you saw that in the beginning. Like, I didn't like that in the promo, when they're like, oh, I'm going to kick your ass and everything. But we see it here at the end. So good stuff. Pretty much confirms Lance Archer, Jake the Snake are baby faces, which I'm fine with that. You kind of wasted their heel run. Didn't really do anything with it. Might as well make them baby face. So, this was Dynamite, guys. Like I said, a solid show. I thought a lot better than NXT. Like I said, either NXT's given up, they're dropping the ball. I don't know what they're doing. Maybe they're just giving us the bullshit now and saving the good stuff for WrestleMania. I really don't know, but NXT's really falling off the tracks here. It's not very good, but Dynamite, keeps delivering solid shows most weeks. Some weeks, they deliver a real big stinger. I feel like I'm watching SmackDown. But, pretty good show tonight, so I can't complain. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Of course, let me know in the comments, did you like these 3 matches? Did you think all the matches were good? Did you think they all sucked? Please tell me and tell us here on Rope Break what you guys thought. And also make sure, you don't just tell us here on YouTube, but tell us all over our social medias by following us, Rope Break on Facebook, the OG Rope Break on Twitter, the original Rope Break on Instagram, and of course, here on YouTube, the home of the fastest growing brand in the YouTube wrestling community. And it's all thanks to you guys, the original Rope Break. So thank you so much. And we will see you next time with NXT UK.